Hello, BookTube, and I haven't done a tag in quite some time. There's one that I've seen going around a bit. The latest that I've seen was Steve Donahue doing the "I used to do that" tag. It was created by Mark at Book Time with Elvis, who I've seen his version, and a couple others as well that sort of popped up on my feed. It's a short one, 6 questions, but it'll probably take a while. First question is, what did you used to do? Have, like, let me start that again. Question one, what did you used to do /have in the following topics that you don't do /have now? Books and reading, books, I don't know, you may not know that I have books and things like that. It may not be too evident from my videos. It's hard to say. Only maybe those that are very observant might notice that. Yeah. Okay. Leisure and travel. Well, travel. I used to do a bit of traveling, but there's several reasons now, health-wise, with long COVID, and financial-wise, travel is definitely out of the picture. Social, I used to get together with friends, and I used to go to a pub occasionally for a few drinks and some food. Again, that's out. COVID sort of stopped it at the beginning, and then just and having COVID and long COVID, and financial wise, that's sort of out. And the same as I used to combine that with some food, just some go out and do that kind of thing. There's sports, hobbies, and activities. Well, I never follow sports. Um, Maybe surprising, I don't play very many sports. Other hobbies. Well, I've had various ones at times. I have sort of dabbled in collecting some coins, but nothing spectacular. Stamps. One thing that I do have quite a few of here. They're sort of packed away in a cabinet, sort of to this side and behind all this stuff. Is postcards. I enjoy collecting postcards, preferably used postcards with the stamp still on them and a message on them, and I really like those. And not like I do have some more recent ones, like in the past 30 or 40 years. The ones I like are about 100 years old. The first 20, 30 years, maybe 40 years of the 20th century are the ones that I really like. And a lot of times stuff that's on them because I like sort of historical, archaeological scenes, particularly churches, abbeys, that type of thing. Work, well, yeah, no, I don't work anymore. Toys, I never really collected toys so much. I did get a few things, figures, toys, I guess you would call them, but you never used them as toys, as the Babylon 5 stuff when I was collecting that in Canada. Never really anything else much. I never was a big toy fan, but I do have some figures around. I've got like a little statue thing of Laurel and Hardy. I've got a bust of John Wayne. I've got a couple busts of the uh, Cumberbatch and the new Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, a few things like that, but not many. It was never really. I wouldn't call it a hobby in any way. It's just sort of I would buy something that I thought was there in front of me and it was interesting. So that was the type of thing. Number two, has doing this tag made you think you might want to revisit some of your old hobbies, activities, etc.? Oh well, let's just back up a little bit here because yeah, other hobbies were are sort of watching a silent film, classic film, and old time radio. It's drama, comedy on radio, mostly pre '70s for American radio, and even more recent stuff for the BBC, the British uh, radio programs, because it seems that to me something happened after the '60s for American radio. Like it died out, and then they started bringing it back occasionally in the late '70s, and it's as if anybody who was doing it were all gone, and the people that started doing it again didn't know how to do it right, and they're not very good. But the BBC have a direct line that continues. Well, I was going to say up to the present, but I think that's changing now for quality, sadly, for other reasons. So let's now go to question 2. Has doing this tag made you think you might want to do revisit some of your old hobbies, activities, etc.? Yeah, the old time radio one. I'd like to get back into listening to that. I don't know. Um, I think when the pandemic first started, and I started working from home, I was listening to some of that stuff, and then for some reason, I got away from it and continue and just haven't got back to it because it's yeah, I don't know why, but I would like to get back to it. Maybe with uh, with the postcards as well. I I it's just like I can't afford to like to get new postcards, like new old postcards. But I'd like to get back to refining sort of the collection and separating things, making sort of subcategories. And the same thing with the old time radio stuff. I've got so much stuff on hard drive, external hard drives that have not been sorted. So I'd like to go through those and sort what I've got, and and fill in any blanks possibly, because this stuff is not. It's mostly readily available for download, most of it, um, on the internet. Um, Let me see what else. I don't know what I'd love to do more traveling, but I don't know. Health wise is the biggest issue at the moment. Social, yeah, it'd be nice to socialize a little bit more. Food, it'd be nice, yeah, to occasionally have something a little different. Yeah. So number 3, are there any new hobbies, activities, etc. that you would like to try in the future? I don't know. There's nothing that sort of really is burning with me for that. Um, I can't think of anything that like a new hobby, because the ones I have are, if I stick with books and classic film, and old time radio, like that'll fill up a lot of my time. More time than I actually have to devote to these things. So yeah, I don't think there is anything. Number 4, do you read many books related to your current hobbies, interests, sports, etc.? Well, sports we can just take out of the equation there. And yeah, like I do read books about film, and I do it's an occasional book to film. So I read the novel or whatever for that the film was based on, and watch the film and talk about some differences that were made, and production things, and little snippets of things. Not super in depth, but it's just sort of fun. But I also like reading the history of cinema, silent film, directors, actors, the production, cinematography, the studios, and and then not just British or American, European, African, Indian, Chinese, Japanese, anywhere there were, film being made, which is pretty well around the world. And, Swedish is another big one. So I do enjoy reading that kind of stuff. Um, and the same with old time radio. It's fun reading stories and the sort of histories of old time radio. And also, well, no, that just reminded me, a hobby that I would like to do. There's two, actually. There's two. It just dawned on me. So we're gonna go back. But anyway, like I read books on those, but I would read books on these things too. And the one thing is, like, to repair sort of old time radios with tube radios and record players or Victrolas and things like that. And the other thing is bookbinding. That is something, and to repair books. Those are two things that I would really, really like to do. And obviously read books about those things. And I also read, because I am into books, I read books about books. So that's reading books about my hobby. I particularly like sort of collecting memoirs, preferably sort of late 19th century up until sort of Second World War-ish at the most, but usually, like a 40 or 50-year period between like about 1880 to 1930, around then. So we've been jumping around here. So, okay, I think I'm at number 5. What are some YouTube channels you can recommend for your non-bookish hobbies? The only really hobby that I watch something on, or I do listen, I should say, is the Old Time Radio Researchers Group. They have a YouTube channel they're a group that's been around for quite a while. I was part of it very briefly about 25 years ago, or about 25 years ago. And what they do is they try to certify, they call it, or they've got a different name for it now, I think, but an old time radio series. And they have people listen to it, make sure it's complete, and the best quality transfer. It's always on MP3 usually. And then they have, additional material, make sure the dates are correct, and make sure it's complete. And then they put this package together, and it's all free. It's up on the archive.org under their the Old Time Radio Researchers Group, and then they do put up stuff on YouTube as well. They kind of flood YouTube, so sometimes if they're getting a little better at it, that they'll put them up in chunks. But before, they used to put up like 50 or 60 episodes at once, and so everything else would get flooded in there. But the problem is I don't really listen to it anymore. That's the thing. I think in the last 2 years I've maybe listened to a couple, and that's it. Or I've started a few others and just, I don't know, just got on to something else. And that's about it, because I don't know of any YouTube channels that deal specifically with, classic film or silent film. There's lots of movie stuff out there. The best one that I do watch, I don't watch all their videos, it's called Dark Corners. They do spotlights on actors and a lot of classical stuff, but they also do a lot of schlock, horror, science fiction, that type of thing, which is interesting. But I guess those two are the only ones that I can really, really think of, because I don't know if anybody does know of any really good sort of, factual silent film ones, YouTube channels, or classic film. And I mean classic film. I'm not talking about the last 20 years. I'm talking about pre-1960, basically. Maybe up until the early mid-60s at the most. That's classic. But But yeah, if it, I don't even have an interest to actually look at the moment. I might do someday, but if anybody does know something, do let me know. Um, Number six, feel free to add or remove any of the topics mentioned, and please tag some people. Well, almost most of the people that I think would do this that I know of have already done it or will be doing it. I'm sure. So that's yeah, that's it. I think for the what's it called here? The I used to do that tag. And that was kind of interesting. So I thought, I thought I'd do a tag. It's been quite a while. I've attempted a few, but they just haven't come through. So I know I'm flooding a little bit with videos, mostly the Future History Project because I'm trying to catch up after an illness. But I also wanted to try to do some variety stuff. Hence doing this tag, as well as I will be doing a live chat Wednesday evening, the 27th. It'll be 10 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States or North America. So, and just you can find it on the list, or just look at your feed, assuming that you are following me. And why aren't you if you're not? But yeah, so I'll end it there, and the next time I'll see you will be some previously recorded Future History Project, but then I'll be live tomorrow night, or tonight actually it is, because it's in the early hours of Wednesday already here in the UK. Take care, BookTube.